Well, lately I've been finding that I have a real need for a portable diesel heater. Now, this is nothing new. Portable diesel heaters have been around for a while, and we've used a lot of different heaters like this, but most of our installations that we've shared over the years have been more permanent, like in our RVs or even in the shop. And I was considering building one on my own, just using some spare parts that I've accumulated over the years. And one of the things that I've wanted to do is to use a more portable heater setup for heating our house when the power goes out. So for emergency heat. And I thought, this would be a good way to do that because we don't have, say, gas heat or wood stove or anything like that. This company, Sunster, reached out recently and said, hey, we've got this portable diesel heater that we're wondering if you wanted to try it out. And I checked it out, and I realized that it's probably similar to what I would have built anyway, at least attempted to build. In fact, what I found out is that it's probably much better than anything I would have done. In fact, it has some features that even my more expensive heaters that I've installed have, or even some of the older, real expensive ones don't have, like elevation, fuel mix control, automatic. To find that in an inexpensive model like this, with some other stuff that I'll show you, is really nice. This one runs for under $200, and it turns out that I've been using it a lot more than I thought I would. In fact, I've even come up with a way to use it to heat the house in an emergency. So let me show you. Well, something about these portable units is that I prefer that it's just super intuitive and easy to use, and I don't have to crack open the manual every time I want to use it, because some of these have just a lot of buttons that are confusing and you don't really know what they're supposed to do. So when I first got this, I just put some fuel in it and plugged it in and just fired it up. And luckily this one has just a really easy little remote that I can just turn it on and adjust the levels up and down. And for the most part, that's all I really need. Now for most of these heaters, they do require some sort of 12-volt DC source like a battery or power station. A lot of folks are trying to use these with just the little 12-volt connector on a power station. I do like the fact that this one also has a little transformer that allows you to plug it into a standard outlet, whether it's in a house or shed or something like that, or from a portable power station. Then it's nice to just be able to have that option and not have to worry about connecting or wiring it up to another battery, because this end that plugs in here is just accepting a 12-volt input, and this transformer just converts the 120-volt AC to 12-volt DC. Now they do provide a DC cord if you did want to connect it to a battery right here. So same plug that goes in here, you just have to wire it to a 12-volt DC source. The only catch here is that your 12-volt source, whether it's a battery or something else, needs to be able to support at least 12 amps at 12 volts DC, because when it first fires up, it's heating up this glow plug inside, which ignites the flame inside this burn chamber. Most of the little connectors on the power stations are only rated up to like 10 amps, so it may not work for those. But if you're connecting it directly to a battery, you should be okay. And it's got these little ring terminals on here. but I would probably just clip them off and put different terminals on them. But if you don't want to have to worry about that 12 amp issue, just use the AC connection and plug it into the AC, 120 volt AC input on your power station, or just plug it into a wall. Now, take a quick look at the anatomy of this thing. At the top here, we've got these little compartments, which is a nice convenient thing for keeping your little remote control here. You don't have to worry about where'd you put it. And on this side here is where the main control is, the display. You know, we've got a, down, up, and a power button, turn it off and on. And we have a fan feature on this one also, so it's got this little, I guess, fan little icon. And this one controls it just by heat level. And then the next one here is, I believe, a thermostat type control where you can activate it or deactivate it based on the ambient temperature.
Start heating.
Now, if you did want to control this remotely, you do have some capability to use this little handy remote, which is really basic and easy to use. I like that. But you can also take this display here with the other controls on it, which has more information on this display, and take it out, and they give you this little extension cable that you can connect it here, put it in between this and the heater, and then you can bring this a little bit closer to you. I think this is like 4 meters. Pretty handy if you're using this in some sort of vehicle. You could just bring it in and mount this somewhere. And you can also run it remotely from an app. It's not on now, but you can see that this app will allow you to turn it on and off. It's got a little power option there. And it's got access to a bunch of settings, which are a lot easier to change here on the app than trying to go through this little display here. Now, the app does use Bluetooth, so it needs to be paired the first time after you download it, either on iOS or Android. I'm using Android. It seemed to pair and get connected without any trouble. Now, this little portable heater also has a couple of really nice features built into it that you don't see in a lot of the other diesel heaters out there, especially at this price point. So they're worth mentioning. And the first one is that it has an automatic elevation adjustment. So what happens with these diesel heaters is that when you get at higher elevations, you tend to get a lot of carbon buildup and it has to work harder. So if you can't adjust the fuel mixture, then you're just prone to getting the heater all mucked up, and you'll see just a lot of soot and stuff build up inside. And I've experienced this and even showed this in a previous video with a really expensive heater that I tested at really high elevations. So this will minimize it by automatically adjusting that fuel mix once you reach a certain elevation, and it'll just maintain that all by itself. So really nice to have that at this price point. I actually have it in a newer heater in my RV that I installed last year, but that heater was also a lot more expensive. And the other feature that is worth mentioning is the fuel pump in here. You'll probably hear people talk a lot about that ticking sound that you hear with the fuel pump. And I've got it in all my heaters. I have mine mounted outside outside the main living space wall, but I can still hear it when it's going thunk, 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 thunk. It's just kind of gotten used to it, and it doesn't really bother me anymore. But the new fuel pumps in here are much better, and you can barely hear them. I think when it first starts up, you hear like a thunk, thunk, very quietly thunk, and then once it kicks in and once it's burning, then the fuel pump ticking sound that you get in this is almost completely gone. You can barely hear it. Yeah, if I put my hand on it, I can feel it just like a boom, 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 but I don't hear it at all. So really nice to have those two features just built into this heater. Now, if we take a look inside just by opening these clips, and it'll release the lid here. It's just a plastic lid. The outside seems to be metal. Standard diesel heater inside. It's just very compact in here and pretty well laid out. You shouldn't have to really do much in here besides refuel it. and you just put diesel in it. What's also nice is that you have access to this little fuel gauge here on the side, which will let you know what your fuel level is. So a quick tip here, if you do need to work on the heater itself, it's located right here. You'll notice there's no screws or anything here to remove the whole heater out, but in some cases you probably don't even have to. On the inlet here, you see there's just this screw-on cap that also holds the top of the heater together. So you just remove that cap and then you can lift this whole top off. And from here you can see we've got our glow plug, we've got a temperature sensor here that goes to the top. And this piece here is our control module, so it's where all the electronics and stuff are. And here's our fan. So if your fan's making noise or doing anything weird, that's where it is. It pulls air here in from this side, and then it pulls it over the blades here on the heater, which get hot, and then it just transfers that heat from the heater out this output here on this side. So we do have a fuel filter also and a fuel pump down here that's located below the heater on the intake side. So let's put this back together. All right. There you go. It's all put back together. Now it does come with an exhaust pipe as well that you can slide right over here and manipulate it, point it wherever you need to, and also comes with this little muffler. And you get some hose clamps here that will go over this and secure these down a little bit better. The muffler has a little drain at the bottom. You want to make sure that this is pointing down so any condensation that builds up in here drips out the bottom. They do throw in a little thermal heat shield sleeve that you could just slide over this, and it gives you some protection from the other area. I would just slide it all the way in there. You could even clamp it down with the hose clamp that you get. So that's a nice thing that they threw in, and it'll prevent transfer of most of that heat that's coming off of the exhaust pipe. And having a smaller exhaust setup works better for me, but I do like to use the muffler. So the issue here though is that the muffler doesn't connect directly to the outlet because it's the exact same diameter. So you need a section of pipe that will join the muffler part to the outlet for the exhaust. So you could cut this up, but I had some extra pipe from another heater and got my clamps on there, and what I can do here is just use this and just quickly connect it to the muffler like that, and then that will then connect directly to here like that. And the nice thing is that there are a lot of parts now available on Amazon for these diesel heaters, whether you need more exhaust or whether you need different ducting or even components for servicing the diesel heater inside itself. Those are all available. I have an Amazon shopping list that I'll link to that has a lot of different parts that I've used for my installations. So go check those out if you want to see what you can do to kind of upgrade and enhance your heater. Now the heater does pull cool air in from this side, and then it shoots the warm or hotter air out this side. It does come with this ducting that you can put on here with some, it's got some hose clamps here that you can fasten it to it. But you don't really need this unless you want to run this expandable ducting inside something else or just extend that somewhere. Now it's a 3-inch outlet, so you can use it with any 3-inch ducting. I like this rigid stuff a little bit better, which doesn't have as much ridges inside, so I think the airflow coming out is going to be a little better. But yeah, it'll fit right on here, and then you can fasten it down. Or you can just go to the store and pick up the standard 3-inch duct like that, and that also works as well. I like these little adjustable ones. You can just point them wherever you need it. So yeah. So right now it's pulling about 74 watts from the power station, and it's on high right now, and yeah, a lot of nice hot air coming out here. Let's turn it down to low and see what that does. The power consumption here, when I went down from high to low, it went down all the way down to 14 watts and then 10 watts, and then now it's registering 0 watts. So it's barely pulling any power, primarily just to run that fan, that blower, to move the air, and a little bit maybe for the controller. But yeah, pretty efficient unit, which would be great for camping, or a small camper, or even working in a shed. You don't really need a whole lot to heat a small space. But I've really enjoyed using it outside. When I'm working, I can just take it where I need it and then blow hot air on me while I'm doing what I need to do in the cold. But I've also got it set up for power outage in our house. So what I did was I took a piece of packing material, and I was able to cut it down to size to fit the window opening on one of our windows. So what I can do is just crank it up, and then I can fit the duct right into the hole that I made, and then also the power cord, and then just set the heater outside the window, and it's still sealed up and blowing hot air inside the house. And I found that it moves a lot of air inside the house, and it can maintain a pretty comfortable temperature inside. I ran it for a couple hours, and it's going to work just fine, I think, when the heat goes out. Because we don't have gas heat or a wood stove or anything like that. We primarily just run off of electricity. And when the power goes out, we have a battery backup system, and just using this instead of space heaters for heat, which draw a lot of power and will pull down our battery capacity, is definitely a better way to go, and it's going to be a lot more efficient that way. So I plan to really get some good use out of this winter, and I will check back with you to let you know how that's been going. But I'm also curious to see what you would use this for, or if you've got one, what have your experience has been. Let us know in the comments, and we'll chat about it. But appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.